and
Yeah, I'm
actually
with you.
make them
I mean,
held
I'm with you
responsible.
completely. Morally, I'm on your side, TD. You know that. I mean, we see eye to eye. I'm just envisioning from what I've seen with the SEC and Gary Gensler's comments, at least there, that this is really where the heads are at. That, I mean, you can't produce a letter like that unless you've been told to hold the line somehow, right? I mean, that's like against the law, basically. It's like they could be sued for this. They would have to prove what if somebody wealthy wants to carry a lawsuit, they would have to prove what these trade secrets are. Supposedly, they wouldn't be able to. I mean, that's scary that they did that. It's like basically like kind of like shutting down the free press. It's similar, very similar. I mean, this is obviously you shut down that there's no law, but well, it might violate an amendment, right? First Amendment, but assuming it's similar in that it basically you're basically shutting out information. It's the first thing a dictatorship attempts to do. Don't let people have information. Knowledge is power, right? That's what it's all about. That's what allows everybody to get away with the dirty secrets.
That was evident when they've been dismantling our educational system for the last 4 decades.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm loving the conversation that's happening in the text chat right now. The real issue is that we're in this we're in class warfare, but the 99% is busy fighting itself.
That's correct.
We're in this constant argument with each other over politics and political parties and who the hell is going to be elected to Senate or Republic or representative, whatever. All of this dumb that we're arguing over that really has no bearing on our future compared to what's going on over on Wall Street and in Washington.
Absolutely. I mean, even if Congress, like say the Democrats, who say they're more sympathetic and they pass packages to help, it's still a fraction of what Wall Street's ripping off. It's still not going to save the middle class, right? I mean, it's like taking 10 and giving one back. Like,
yeah,
they're not willing to pass any laws to restrict themselves from trading, right? Isn't that the acid test on top of everything, right?
That's only one part of what I'm talking about. Like we're so busy arguing with each other over like welfare, welfare stimulus, finance policies and stuff, or just like what is our moral stance on abortion or
well, that's the wealthy. That's what they do. It's culture wars. They bring up.
Well, let me get to my point. The struggle that everybody is having with each other is one that is distracting them from what Wall Street is in control of. You have these figureheads on Wall Street and in Washington that are, shaking hands with each other constantly that nobody's paying attention to. And like all we do is just swallow up the garbage propaganda that comes out on mainstream media saying like, this is where all of your real problems are. This is who's causing your problems. This is who's responsible. And they're pointing the fingers at each other to various political parties and political figures that get all of the ire and attention of the public from either side of the aisle when they're not even the ones pulling the strings. Like every single one of these guys gets paid off in some way, shape, or form by somebody who works on Wall Street. You have all of the CEOs of all the major investment banks. You have market makers and special interest groups, and also the wealthiest people in the world between Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, the Koch brothers, everybody that lives. The 400 wealthiest Americans, where all of their donations go, where all their charitable donations go? It goes to political parties, and they're tax exempted for it. Like, it's so stupid and it's so obvious, but nobody's paying attention because they're too busy screaming at each other over who the hell's getting elected to their local government. It's stupid. It's stupid that we're arguing with each other over these meaningless problems, and we're allowing ourselves to be distracted from who the actual bad actors are. That if we could actually just point out to even 10% of the American populace who's actually responsible for all of the shit they're living in, then we could actually go do something about it. But we're just so easily distracted.
during these kinds of times is when you should start looking at what the lobbying efforts are being done on behalf of industry, businesses, and banks with Congress, because this is when they start passing stuff nefariously and slipping stuff in the bills that people are too busy arguing over politics to notice, that are really detrimental down the road.
This is why I
Absolutely.
so strongly emphasize everybody to look at opensecrets.org. Opensecrets.org is absolutely like the best thing that was ever created. This website follows all charitable donations and tax exempt organizations that are tied to various political figures and who's making the donations to them. Like you can find let's just look up, Ken Griffin. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like Open Secrets. You want to look at anybody like Ken Griffin, you can look at all of his contributions and to who the recipient was. Every single one of them was a Republican super PAC.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Everyone was some form of local government, and it was all tied to the presidential election. He was trying to push for presidential election on the side of republicanism. And
Yeah.
you can look at other federal spending, like you can see what George Soros is doing, or Jeffrey Yass. Jeffrey Yass is a massive donor. Look at what he's investing in. Back to School USA, the American Leadership Action, Club for Growth Action.
Yeah.
These are actually targeting like specific sponsorships and scholarships for Ivy League schools. And on the surface, it looks like, oh wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, he's being
But
nice. He's being a
yeah,
benefactor.
yeah, he's the
Kind of,
benefactor of the change he wants to see, and he's
it's
tax
almost
exempt
like
for it,
you ever
which
remember
is
that
what
movie,
makes
The
it better.
Skulls? Remember that movie, The Skulls? Right, where they had like it was Ivy League school, and they had a secret fraternity of guys who pledged to help each other through life. Keep the frat going, keep the power,
Yeah,
keep the
I
power base.
understand. Yeah, it's very much like a fraternity or secret society, and yes, all those connections that these guys make in university and their Ivy League schools, they serve them forever, and that's why they make these huge donations because that's where their children, that's where their hereditary rule
Yep.
is established, and the hierarchy of that hereditary rule is perpetuated, is at those Ivy League
Yep.
schools where they learn all the different figureheads, who's who, and they establish those connections for the future and make that transition from their boyhood, or
Yeah,
or
into the
their
working
youth
world.
into the working world where they go
Yeah.
on to be the world leaders in the
Yep.
behind the
Like the
scenes.
Davos, like Davos training 101,
Yeah.
right?